Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly. On this episode, I'm joined by Linda Leary, the driving force behind FisheWear. Linda shares her fly fishing journey, and we take a deep dive into all things FisheWear. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. But before we get to the interview, just a couple of housekeeping items. If you like the podcast, please tell a friend, and please subscribe and leave us a rating and review in the podcatcher of your choice. It really helps us out. And in case you missed it, the EPA recently issued a new 404C proposed determination with respect to Bristol Bay. The proposed determination would restrict or prohibit the use of certain Bristol Bay watersheds as disposal sites for the discharge of dredged or fill material related to the proposed pebble mine. The EPA will accept public comments through September 6th. If you'd like to support this important step towards permanently protecting Bristol Bay, please visit the Take Action link in the show notes. Now, on to our interview. Well, Linda, welcome to The Articulate Fly.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation. I'm sorry it took us so long to get our calendars synced up.
Oh, no worries. Summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so we have a tradition on The Articulate Fly. We like to ask all of our guests to share their earliest fishing memory.
So probably one of the earliest fishing memories was with my dad. A couple of them. One was out on this rock pier, and my sister and I, he was fin cast fishing, I think, at the time, and somehow my sister threw his worms in the lake, and that didn't go well. But then we progressed as I got a little older. He'd take me out in the boat, and the evenings after work, he'd go out and fish with my uncle and his boat, and then be side by side fly casting and fishing for brook trout on the lake. And it was just so beautiful. It was like the sun was setting, the mosquitoes were out, and the bats were flying around, and they were casting and just talking to each other, but very quietly. And it was just really, really a pretty memory. So, and then then eventually I'd get to fish with him, and he'd teach me to cast. Well, it's fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, very, very neat. And I can imagine when you say that, it makes me think about fishing gray ghosts and winged wet fly patterns for trout in lakes.
Yes. And then just little flies. He had just real little dry flies too that he was using out on the lake, and he had his favorite patterns that he liked, and I'll have to look up what they were. I can't remember some of them, but they were beautiful. Yeah, Parachute Adams, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think about all those Carrie Stevens streamers, pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, it's been a while. And so who are some of the folks that have, mentored you on your fly fishing journey, and what they teach you?
Well, I would say, aside from my dad, I would say that, all the guys that you fish with over the years, when, we could take clients to lodges a lot here in Alaska fishing, and every guide you go out with, you learn something new. And whether it's the style of casting for the different weather patterns, whether it's windy or, you're in a tight spot and there's not a lot of room around you. Every one of them teaches you something new and different. And so I'm always just trying to be a student of the different styles of guides and what they want to teach you, and try to remember it and just practice it and just continue to get better. And you're always learning. It's not like you're going to figure it all out the first time you're out. So,
yeah, I don't think you ever figure it all out.
Yeah. Or whether it's fishing Western Alaska or you're out fishing for tarpon down in the Keys, these guys are really good guys. It's just great. They're good teachers.
Yeah, very, very neat. And, it's kind of interesting because I guess we probably met a couple of years ago at I think maybe it was at IFTD, but was really curious. I really find your brand interesting, and, I was kind of curious, what made you want to start FisheWear?
So it actually started, I was in the trucking industry for many years, and kind of had some clients out fishing, and it was probably a slow day. And I remember on the river, we had a female guide that's a good friend of ours, Kate Taylor, and Kate and I were just chatting about, you're always thinking about how you would like things to be different or better. brainstorming, her with other female clients. And it really kind of came out of conversations on the river and things that we would like to have that you could go right from the river to dinner, or that would be a slight tweak on what's out in the market now that would be fun for women, still technical, and have a function for fishing and for fly fishing, and yet have a bit of a twist of art on it, color, and make it a little bit more feminine, but not too girly.
Yeah, got it. And, it's interesting too, because you mentioned your career in trucking, and, I know your previous business experience had been with much larger companies. I think I remember doing research for this interview that at one time your trucking company had 700 employees. And I was kind of curious what it was like to go from that experience to running your own startup.
Startups are a lot of work. I was telling somebody, it's way easier to have 700 employees than to have, 7 or 8, because you have other people to help you, right? And it's a bigger operation. But you can really get in with a smaller operation like this, and you're involved in every aspect of it. And you can really get a feel for it and mold it to be the way that you want it to be, and have more hands-on, which my employees may say is good or bad, but
no, I'm with you.
It is good. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think bigger has, may sound more challenging, and it is definitely. Everything's more zeros. But sometimes it's a little easier.
Yeah. I mean, and in terms of, kind of anything kind of, unique about kind of starting and running FisheWear that kind of surprised you, that was really, really different from your past work life?
What's interesting is that it's just, what I did previously, we started from a small trucking company and grew it. And I think with retail, you have ups and downs in your your revenue streams, and I would say that very similar to trucking, you need to have diversity in your revenue streams, and you need to have diversity in your customer base, and that way is very similar. I would say, clothing and items like we have now are very personal, whereas, most of the time in trucking, you're dealing with businesses. So that side is more similar to dealing with wholesale on our side for Fishy. But it's a much more intimate with when you're dealing with clothing and people's personal taste of what they like or don't like. So that can be a fun opportunity to try and figure out what they want for that particular time.
Yeah. And interesting too, right? Because I was thinking about this as I was kind of preparing the questions. I mean, really different kind of from, getting, RFPs and bidding out trucking contracts and running the business to doing retail. That's got to be really different too.
Yeah, it is. Because there's on both sides, there's a people component to it. So you're still, with your employees, you're still trying to take care of your employees. You have a responsibility to make payroll every week and make sure that you're taking good care of them as you do with your customers, right? So you're always trying to make sure that you're really focused on what your customers want, how well you take care of your employees, and how they take care of your customers. And so for me, that's always an important focus to think about. But now you're dealing with retail space, and at Fishy, at Carlisle, we didn't really have customers coming into our space all the time. So you have this work environment that you're sending trucks out to pick up freight and deliver it and make sure nobody gets hurt. So it's much a much greater safety component on the trucking side. So I have brought that over to our side, and we do facility audits, and we've done safety audits just to make sure that we're doing the things they need to, so that nobody gets hurt even here. So I'm a big safety nut
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was curious too. I mean, is there kind of a design and manufacturing kind of overlay that's comparable, or is that something that was also kind of new going to FisheWear?
Well, actually, um, transportation logistics is very creative, and many people call it an art on the logistics side. Is because you're creating solutions for your clients that are unique to them and unique to their situation and what they may be transporting at the time or the route. And so I would say that going from being able to use the creativity on the logistics side to the the FisheWear, which is more of fine art, is different in that way, but there's still a creative component on both sides that just express themselves in different ways. How about that?
No, interesting. Yeah, I can get that. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always interesting too. Like I love to ask startup businesses for that kind of light bulb moment when you knew that FisheWear was going to make it and that kind of vision you had for the company, you were going to be able to fulfill it.
Well, it was really important when we first started that we were cash flowing like right away within a few months, because that you have to have money coming in to cover your bills and I would say within two or a couple of years, when you see clients saying, I wear my stuff out and people are stopping me in the airport, they want to know, where did I get that, and who who makes that product. And I mean, we hear that a lot, which is awesome, right? And we have people that know all the names of our patterns, and our goal is to create a fun culture around the products and engaging and fun for people, and they can express themselves with their patterns, and yet it's really functional clothing that they can use and wear. And then the collaborations that we've done have been really fun as well, like with Orvis and Extra Tough and folks like that, Groove, that have enabled us to grow our base as well. So we're very appreciative of that. We just did a beer launch 2 weeks ago. That was fun.
I saw that on Facebook yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Won't be coming to my part of the world anytime soon, but I can always hope, right?
Hey, you can order it online on Tabor.
I'll have to check that out.
TAVOUR. Yeah, there you go.
So, I know another thing that you do too is you host trips. And I was kind of curious, was that something that you were doing, before FisheWear? I know you mentioned you were taking clients for the trucking company out. Was that something you were doing kind of before FisheWear, or was that something, I know you purchased women's fly fishing from Pudge? Is that kind of when the hosted trip stuff really kind of kicked into gear?
Yeah, that's when. I mean, I had a lot of practice over the years in the trucking industry because we took clients out a lot. But so I wasn't fearful of doing it. But when Pudge Kleinkopf decided to retire a couple of years ago, well, probably 4 years ago now, we had the opportunity to purchase her business and just carry on the legend of what she had built to keep teaching gals how to fly fish and also take them on hosted trips. And, we hope that she'll be very proud of what we're doing with it as we continue to grow it. And so that started probably three years into Fishy that we bought that company. We bought her company.
Got it. Yeah. And you guys are super busy. I mean, it looks like you do probably, 8 to 12 trips a year. You want to kind of let folks know a little bit about kind of what you offer and also kind of how it integrates with FisheWear's brand.
Yeah. We've done, earlier this year, I did a trip to the Bahamas to a group of ladies bone fishing, which was amazing. Went to South Andros Lodge and South Andros and caught bonefish. Then we just did a trip to Yakutat for steelhead, and all the ladies there, I think caught steelhead. Was a little tough fishing. They caught steelhead, or they got to go offshore and catch halibut, or if they wanted there. We have another one coming up We have some out to Western Alaska for kings and reds. We have a gnome trip the first week of July. We have a trip to Henry's Fork in July also that I'm hosting for a group of ladies there that will be going out and catching rainbows and browns and stuff. It's great at Trout Critters. And then we have, let me see here. Then we're on the Kenai. We have a women's retreat that we do down there. Fishing for silvers and rainbows, and also maybe some silvers if they're in, or pinks. And then I think we have a couple more mixed in there. I can't remember them all. Yeah, so it's been just a fun way to integrate FisheWear and women's fly fishing. It's just a natural that they work together. And so, a lot of the products that we make or sell, ladies will want to use on their trip or vice versa. And, it's super fun. And so we're teaching all these ladies how to fly fish and fish. So hopefully we have a whole another group of ladies that are coming through our programs that, are going to be future fly fishermen or fishermen in general, out there on the water, mostly here from Alaska. But we just had a lady that was visiting from Wisconsin, and she took a class while she was here. So that was awesome.
Yeah, very, very neat. And I mean, as you mentioned, you do find your way down. I mean, Henry's Fork is a great location. I would never complain about going to Andros to chase bonefish either.
No. That was amazing. That was great. We had customers with us from all over the lower 48. So it was great.
Yeah, very, very neat.
A couple Alaskan ladies.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Slightly better weather, I imagine, at that time of the year too.
Yeah.
So
ready.
Yeah, and so what was the first product you ever produced at FisheWear?
So we came out with 4 or 5 products all at the same time. So we had a legging with some of our art on it. I think we had 3 patterns we started with. We had hats that kind of matched them, so like a trucker hat style neck tube. So we had some neck tubes that were all in our patterns that matched the leggings, and then also wading belts. So those were kind of the key products that we had in the beginning that were kind of our base that we got us started. And we tried some T-shirts and stuff to go along with those as well in the beginning. But really the foundation has been the leggings and bags. We've done some dry bags and then some the hats and now we are coming out with more and more sun tops and things. So it's been great.
Very, very cool. What's your kind of design and manufacturing process look? I mean, are you putting out new stuff every year? So you have a pretty rigorous kind of annual design and manufacturing process, or is it a little bit different than that?
Well, just remember, I know nothing about production manufacturing. So it's been a learn by as we go along. We have a team of people that are helping us design and come out with products. We try to match up with the selling season for fly fishing. And we have also probably at least 4 new prints a year that we're coming out with. And then there's other new products that we experiment with that come out throughout the year as well. Some during the holidays and some just prior to the summer. But we're working really hard to get that more and more dialed in as we go along.
Yeah, got it. All right. Because I mean, I know you've got multiple artists, and then it kind of goes from there. And then kind of in the manufacturing and kind of design process, I mean, are you people kind of like field testing stuff? I mean, obviously not everything needs to be field tested, but I mean, how does that generally work? How long does it take you, for example, to bring a new product to market?
I remember when I first started, people saying, "Oh, it takes 18 months." I'm like, "Oh, it couldn't be that long, right?" It does. It takes that long if you want to do it right. And as far as field testing, it would be myself, and then we have some friends that are out in the field that'll test things for us, and making sure that it's going to work correctly. And not everything is just designed because I want it, but there's a lot of things that either myself or friends have told us that would work really well for gals, and try to put a fishing spin on it. Like we did a crossbody bag that could be a everyday fashion piece, but then we put straps on the back so you can put it on your wader belt and use it as a little fly case, to hold your stuff when you're out in the water, a smaller one. And so everything that we design, we try to have a fishing component or fishing focus on it so that it's functional for fishing as well as you could wear it as a lifestyle piece too.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was going to ask you that, because that always seems to kind of be, particularly, I guess, with apparel, the deal with the devil, right? Are you making gear or are you making lifestyle stuff?
Yeah. Well, what we found is that a lot of people that buy our products also maybe don't fish, but they like the art. They like being part of that community. But they'll use it for other sports as well. Like when I first started, I had several clients that were triathletes, guys, and they were wearing them because they're like a compression pant, and they love them. It's like an Under Armour style pant, legging for guys, and so they'll wear them to run. And we'll have people wear them hiking. They'll wear them skiing. It's like a base layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can use it as a base layer, or you can use it out, kayaking, rafting, and because they dry really fast. So that's really helpful. And they give good sun protection. So they have a lot of different uses depending on where you are and what outdoor activities you like to do.
Yeah, very neat. And,
works well.
Yeah. And I know I remember mentioning this to you when I saw you it was either in Denver or Salt Lake City this year. One of the interesting things I find is that I know you use multiple artists, but, unlike some other fly fishing oriented apparel brands, every time I see something, I know instantly it's FisheWear. And I was kind of curious how you accomplish that when you have these kind of diverse artist channels.
I'm a big believer in letting the artists do what they're going to do, because that's why they're so good, right? You need to let them have the freedom to be creative, take their time to think through it. But I've learned a lot about art and what works for us and what will be a good design that will lay out well in our products. And so, we'll give them some parameters to work within, but I really like to leave it up to the individual artists to be able to express themselves through color and through pattern, and then we kind of take it from there and lay it out in a way that works for us.
Got it.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the artist basically gives you the design, but you may go to, like, for lack of a better word, kind of like a graphic design team to implement that for products. Yeah. And we have graphic designers that work for us that will do layouts and, but we'll use components of the art that the artists have created. And we have some fun stuff coming out this summer that may or may not have a fun and funky kind of 60s, 70s vibe to it. So. Oh, very cool. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I can remember having a similar conversation with Derek DeYoung about it, about kind of how the art finds its way, to everything, right? I mean, he's got Aura wraps and glasses and kind of how that process works. And super interesting, right? So you started with 4 products, and I know, you've expanded a bit. How has FisheWear kind of grown over the years?
We've been able to grow, region by region. We've hired reps that handle calling on a lot of the fly shops for us. This has been great, and outdoor stores, and then just our continuing to push our online growth and those channels to try and reach And then we try to create fish that will expand us into other regions of the country as well and attract new markets for us. And then product wise, we try to stay semi-focused and not too far out, but once in a while I do stray and maybe create something that I may or may not have anything to do with fishing, but it's just fun. So.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And I know you collaborate with other brands, like, for example, Orvis is probably the one that I can think of most easily, but I mean, I know there are others. Is that part of kind of what that collaboration experience allows you to do, which is to kind of get into products that it's not worth it for you to design and market and inventory yourself, but are useful in the market and support your brand?
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully it's really a good relationship for them as well. And it's creating products that we probably wouldn't make ourselves, so we're not at that point, and allows us to focus on the things that people know us for, and continue to grow in those areas. So, yeah. And, we have a couple others that may come out next year that'll be kind of a fun collabs that we'll be able to announce next spring. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll see them on the just show circuit before. So you work with Orvis, and I know you've got some great sling bags with them, right? And we just talked about your beer collaboration, which we can now order in the lower 48. And I know you've got kind of a boating boot collaboration. What are some of the other ones that you have?
Well, that's really the main ones right now are Extra Tough and Orvis. We also have collaborated in the past with Groove Rings, and then they've been making watch bands for us, Apple Watch bands. And they're actually another Alaska. Well, the gentleman that started it, Peter, originally from Alaska also. And so that's been fun to be able to collaborate with him and do that. We also we've collaborated with Arabella Rods with April Archer, and we create some custom rods with her where we put our art on them. And that's been really, really fun. Those have been the major ones that we've done. And then, of course, our beer launches with Anchorage Brewing, with Gabe over there. It's just been such a gift working with those guys. And just he is truly an artist, making beer and a beautiful space to celebrate it in. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, very neat. And, we were talking before we started recording about, it's really, at least from my perspective, it's unusual for kind of a niche apparel brand to have its own retail store, and you have your own retail store. So kind of how did that come about? And, why do you have a retail store when, so many of your, I guess, competitors, probably not a good word, but, other typical niche apparel makers generally don't?
Well, that's interesting because I guess I didn't know I shouldn't. That's probably why it happened. I guess I didn't realize it. And we're actually not in prime retail space, so we're in more like a warehouse space, which is my back. Kind of goes back to my background. And we knew we needed offices, and it happened to have warehouse space because we needed to store product. And we're like, well, why don't we just set up a store while we're here, a showroom, because we have a lot of clients here in Alaska that want to come here and see, buy product and pick it up. And then we get a lot of tourism here in Alaska now that COVID is pre-COVID and it's picking up now post-COVID. So it's a destination for them to come in and see our products. They've been following us online, and we had this wonderful young couple come in last summer. They just got married. They're on their honeymoon. Their first stop was FisheWear, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was the coolest. And so, so it's trying to create a little bit of a destination shopping experience for people. So, but I didn't know that I probably shouldn't be having a retail site.
Well, is it close to your? Yeah, is it close to your brewery that you're collaborating with?
Yeah, everything's close in Anchorage.
Yeah,
yeah, he's 10 minutes away. So, yeah.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been fun and yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very neat. And I guess too, it probably, I don't know, I would think it would also kind of help you R&D kind of the retail part of your business so that you can help your reps, sell to the retailers better.
Yeah, because we really started out selling online, direct to consumer, and then we had a retail store, and then we started doing wholesale because we had a lot of wholesalers reaching out to us saying, "Hey, we want to sell your product." So that kind of happened after we had everything else set up, and my intention was to eventually do that, but we wanted to make sure that we could take good care of the wholesale clients and so they've been very patient with us as we've learned. And then during COVID, just make sure that you have product for them and it's ready to go. But we try not to oversell our abilities if we can.
Yeah.
So we,
yeah. And so it's always interesting. I always think that, shops always kind of have their own vibe. What's it like in your shop in Anchorage?
A lot of color. It's a very industrial feel. So because it's a warehouse space, we have a lot of, in my background being trucking, we have pallets. We have pallets on our wall that we hang products off. So then we have a lot of piping. We have big posters of our photo shoots and big banners hanging up and lots of color in here. And it's fun to have customers come in that have never been here and they just stop and look around and they have to take it in for a moment because it's a little overwhelming, I think, because there is so much color.
Yeah.
And, and art. And we set up a Instagram wall so people come in, they can take photos and, just to make it a fun space.
Yeah. And I guess the neat thing too, right, is you're selling not just FisheWear stuff. So you're selling Orvis waders, you've got rods. And so probably not all the way to a fly shop, but you've got a lot more than just FisheWear.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. Yes. We have Orvis waders. We have Corker boots. We have Orvis wading jackets. And then we have Cerebella rods. And then everything else pretty much is ours. My husband makes spices for barbecuing, so we have those here. I just met these neat young guys at a trade show, and they sell these really cool, they call them it's like cleaning cloth, like a sanitary hand wipe. It's called Clean Freak, and they come in all these fun scents and this little black packaging, which I thought would be really cool to put out in your fishing bag. So when you're out fishing, you always get stinky and you get fishy smelling. You can just take one of those out. It smells like coconut or lavender or whatever you want. So we're carrying those. We don't make those, so that's kind of fun. And other than that, a lot of the product in here is ours or ours that we put our art and color on and our spin. So
yeah, very cool. And so if you can't make it to Anchorage, and you're one of those people that doesn't want to buy online, where else can folks find FisheWear?
Well, if you go to our website, we have retailers listed on there throughout the lower 48. So there's a lot, of course, on the Rockies, West Coast. We have some down in the Florida Keys. We have some on the East Coast. And even in Maine, we just picked up. We've been doing some work with LL Bean and also with Kittery Trading Post are carrying our products in Maine. So that's been fun.
Yeah, very neat. I would imagine, gosh, getting picked up by LL Bean is huge, right?
Yeah, that's cool. They're carrying it in the flagship store, and for a gal from Maine, that's a pretty big deal, and very honored to be in their store and having them showcase our products. So, yeah, really, really awesome.
Did you create any kind of New England specific patterns for them for your clothing?
No, they carry mostly our bags and neck suits and stuff, but we may or may not have something that's going to have a little bit of a spin coming out here in the next year for all my East Coast Maine friends. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that I've left out, Linda, that you want to share with our listeners?
No, I just, we really appreciate everybody's input and thoughts on new products. We do have something coming out that people will be able to use for the summer that's coming soon. I forgot about for to and out for that, for enjoying the beach and for fishing. That I think people will really enjoy taking a look at that. So that should be out in June. And no, we just really appreciate everybody's support and thank them for all their help and their art and supporting us. And please keep giving us suggestions, because there's just lots to do and lots more to create for the gals.
Yeah, very, very neat. And you go ahead.
I was going to say, and thank you to the guys that are out there buying products for other women in their lives, because they really want to go out fishing and enjoy it as much as they do. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine folks can also, it's summertime and people are fishing, but it will get cold again, and you probably will make the consumer fly fishing show circuit again.
Yes. Yep. We'll be back on the show. We'll be actually at ICAST in July in Orlando. And then again next year, we'll be out on the circuit again, and we'll be in Denver first quarter.
Yeah. Well, it's a dry heat down in Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Well, what's the best way for folks to follow your fishing adventures and everything that's going on at FisheWear?
You can watch us, check out our website at FisheWear.com or Women's Fly Fishing. And then also we are on Instagram, Facebook, and we have a TikTok channel for FisheWear. And my team's been having a lot of fun making some fun, creative TikToks. So check them out, and you'll enjoy them as much as I do. And I always get the humor, but it's really fun.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Kaz keeps asking me when I'm going to have a TikTok channel, and I was just like, I just don't have that kind of K-pop, Backstreet Boys kind of vibe going on with the Articulate Fly, but maybe I will one day.
Oh, I love it, though. I love the creativity, and we have an amazing, amazing team. So super fun.
Well, very neat. And I'll drop all those links in the show notes, Linda. And I really appreciate you taking time to chat with me.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Have a great summer.
You too. Take care. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Again, if you like the podcast, please tell a friend and subscribe and leave us a rating and review in the podcatcher of your choice. And don't forget to check out the Take Action link for Bristol Bay in the show notes. Tight lines, everybody.